Thank you to all the guests who are attending this webinar on affordable automation, which is one of the burning topics, one of the hottest topics in the world right now, in the world of manufacturing. And I'm very happy to be here to present the first part of this series. And this is called Innovative Automation Without Robots. Because a vast majority of us think that automation means you need expensive robots, you need big gantry systems, which of course cost a lot of money and also take time to implement. So this first part focuses on the kind of automation which is possible on machine tools without robots. And friends, I'm happy to introduce my panelists, Mr. Vinod Madane, who represents the SME sector. He is MD of Sapta Shringi Engineers based in Nasik, and he has units elsewhere also. And Mr. SD Sharma, who's Vice President Strategy in the Endurance Group, which is a huge auto component manufacturer and one of the biggest in the country. And so we have these two guests from who will share their thoughts from the user's perspective, their users. So before we proceed with the presentation and the discussion and the videos, and I promise you this is going to be very, very interesting. Let us have a few words first from Mr. Sharma and then from Mr. Vinod Madane. Sharma ji.
So good afternoon to all dear friends. I would thank all of you to be a part of this webinar today. And thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity to share with you my thoughts and my experience with this subject of affordable and innovative automation without robots. So it's great to be here today, and I feel the need of the time is, of course, to focus on the automation part to make our processes more leaner, try to make a working environment which can deliver the best of the best quality along with the competitive price. And obviously this is going to reduce our operating cost and finally give us the opportunity to lead in the market and become a market leader. So I will not go much into the details right now because just this is an opening speech. I would hand over this to Mr. Gaurav now, and while the process of the presentation and our discussion will go on, we will discuss our part of thought and what we can do to make this competition and the environment most suitable for earning more business and doing more cost reduction and a leaner process to work upon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. That was very nicely summarized. Can I request you to mute your mic, sir? And I'll unmute Mr. Madane because then otherwise we have this static. Okay. So, Mr. Madane, please say a few words, share your thoughts with the audience, and then we can start with the presentation.
हेलो एवरीवन। ऑटोमेशन की अभी तो बहुत ज़रूरत है क्योंकि 30 साल से मैं ये लाइन में हूँ और गौरव जी से मैंने 2-3 साल पहले ही ऑटोमेशन के बारे में बात किया था, तो गौरव जी ने भी मुझे हेल्प किया था। एक मशीन हमारी तरफ ऑटोमेशन का है, तो आदमी के प्रॉब्लम बहुत है, अभी आदमी मिलते नहीं है, आदमी बराबर काम नहीं करते हैं, रिजेक्शन होता है। ऑटोमेशन की प्राइस कम होगी तो लोग बहुत करेंगे ऑटोमेशन, और मेरी इच्छा है कि मेरी 3-4 कंपनियां ऑटोमेशन ही करके मुझे काम करने का है, क्योंकि आदमी की इतनी तकलीफ है कि आदमी बराबर काम ही नहीं करता है और रिजेक्शन कम हो जाएगा और कॉस्ट का रेट भी कम हो जाएगा। तो मुझे यही कहने का है कि गौरव जी को जो भी हेल्प लगी मेरी तरफ से मैं हेल्प करूंगा, पर ऑटोमेशन के कम प्राइस में, और वो अपन सक्सेस करेंगे। Thank you.
Thank you, sir. for sharing these views as an entrepreneur, as a small and medium scale entrepreneur rather, who has multiple units and has been facing multiple problems. And I remember you telling us that you set up a new unit in Sanand and how much problems you had to face or still are facing. So thank you both, Mr. Sharma and Mr. Madane. And now let us move forward with our presentation of today, affordable automation. And part one of this is innovative automation without robots. Now, why is affordable automation needed today? There are three reasons, primary reasons. First reason is that there is a shortage of skilled operators. There was a shortage before COVID. Now, post-COVID, the shortage has worsened. Second, certain norms are going to be put into place now, like social distancing, how much space should be there between one worker and another, which means that in some crowded small factories, if earlier there were 140 workers, now you will not be allowed more than 85, 90, depending on the situation. So you will not be able to, even if you have workers or can find workers, you will not be able to put them inside the factory. Third thing, we have all suffered losses. All this shutdown, and when it opens also partial shutdown, huge loss. From where we will recover the loss? One of the ways of recovering this loss is by having a much higher utilization of the machines, which we call OEE, through automation. So if we implement this today, we start the process today, we will quickly recover our losses, and then we will make our companies strong so that we have higher profits generated over the next period, medium term, long term. So because of these three reasons, affordable automation is absolutely the first priority today. Now, when we talk about affordable automation without robots, what is the magic mantra? Magic mantra actually isme kuch nahi hai, there is no magic. It is dependent on two basic principles. First principle is that design the in-feed system. In-feed means how the material comes to the machine. Design the in-feed system in such a manner that you do not need expensive equipment for that. So we rely on two things, gravity and vibrations. So wherever possible, use gravity. From a higher height to a lower height, gravity will bring the material. And use vibrations. So I will explain now how we actually do it. So this is one principle. Second is to design the CNC machine in such a manner that its own systems and its moving assemblies unload and load the machine without need for any gantry or robot. So these are two principles I will focus on today, that material movement through gravity or vibration and machine designed to load, unload itself. So you don't need any external systems. So first principle, in-feed. Now, as you can see on the left side of the screen, this is a very cheap and very widely used system called vibratory bowl feeder. This is a vibration-based system for small parts. So on the left side of the screen, you can see vibration-based in-feed system, which is called a vibratory bowl feeder. So you dump the material inside that, and with the help of vibration, it slowly moves the material to a chute from which it can enter. The second method is to design chutes in such a manner, like a Z-shaped chute, where through gravity, the parts keep coming down, 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 and then they enter into the machine. So these are two of the common ways in which the gravity or vibration is used for feeding the machine. Now, second principle. Second principle is that machine should be designed in such a manner to use its own systems and moving parts to load and unload the components. For example, here you see a machine where the structure of the machine has a certain angle which permits the raw material to come close to the spindle without interference from the machine parts, and the large stroke of the machine to mount grippers on the machine slide itself. So you have grippers जो CNC की slide के ऊपर mounted हैं, so that you don't need any external thing, which I will now show in a video clip. So the format of this webinar is that we will show you something, we will explain certain concept, and then we will show you a small clip which will visually demonstrate that. So here we will illustrate this principle of the machine loading itself with something called twin grip, twin release. So one gripper grips the fresh job, the other takes the machine job, and the gripper which, I'll repeat this because this was very fast. So the gripper which picks up the fresh job, it loads that into the work holding, and the one which has removed, it throws the job into a chute. So very simple CNC controlled mechanism mounted on the CNC machine itself. So this is an example of using the machine's own structure and assemblies to load and unload. Now, typically, these type of automations are for machines where you have two operations, operation 10 and operation 20, or at least, or one operation, operation 10. Now, once you have done the first operation, there are three possibilities. And the three possibilities, first is that you exit the part through the chute, as we have shown here. And we saw in the video, previous video, the part is exited from the machine. Its job is over. But we have two other possibilities. Second possibility is, in case of certain jobs where the second operation requires the face of the job to be turned. अगर पहले यहाँ पे मशीनिंग थी, पकड़ना यहीं से है, पहले यहाँ मशीनिंग थी, तो उसके बाद यहाँ करनी है. For that, we have a very simple technology called flip or flipping system, which I will show just now. So you see here, the job is removed. It goes to a flipping station. It's flipped 180 degrees. Again, picks up, loads the job, and second side machining is done. You can see again that the machine job is taken to a flipping station. It rotates through 180 degrees. Again, the job is clamped by the gripper and loaded onto the job. So this is for those jobs where the work holding is the same in both setups. Please note, where the work holding is same in both the setups, operation 10 and 20, you don't need to move the job to another spindle or another machine. On the same machine, on the same spindle, do one operation, do the flipping, and then do the machining of the second, and then the part can be exited. So this is a very cheap, effective way of completing a job in single setup. Third option. In some cases, you cannot grip the job from the same diameter or from the same place for both the operations. In many cases, in the first setup, you have to grip from the OD. In the second setup, you have to grip from the ID or something like that. Or there are multiple steps on the OD. So, alag-alag jagah se pakadne ka. In that case, you have to take the job to a second spindle. Now, Marshall is a specialist in twin turn machines, twin spindle machines, inline spindles. So, inline means basically कि एक ही axis है उनका. So, in this case, what we do is, after the operation on one spindle, we have an internal transfer arm which transfers the job to the second spindle. And I will show you a video with this thing in action. So this is the transfer arm which you are seeing here. it catches the part and transfers to the second spindle. And all this is within the machine. There's no external gantry, there is no robot. This is internal. So I will quickly show it again so that principle is very clear. So job after first operation is removed from the spindle, handed to the transfer arm, which takes it to the other spindle, where the other gripper takes it from the transfer arm and loads in the second spindle. So these, again, I'll repeat now that for most of the small checking jobs, either the job is over after one setup, so it exits from the machine. In cases that the other side also has to be machined, there is one way, which is through flipping, where the holding diameter is the same for the first and the second setup. So you flip the job inside the machine and machine the second side. And the second case, where the work holding is different for both the operations, there we use a twin spindle machine, inline twin spindle machine, and we use a transfer arm between them, as I just showed you. Now, at this point, I'd like to clarify one thing. There is a word, very popular word in our country, jugaad. I strongly want to tell the attendees and anyone I meet, I say the same thing. जुगाड़ is not affordable automation. बहुत सा जुगाड़ जो होता है, it seems to work, but it has so many issues related to reliability that it is bound to fail, and then it discourages everybody, and then they say कि राम प्रसाद से ही काम करवा लो, ये तो बंद रहता है ज़्यादा, चलता कम है. So reliability is the number one feature of automation. It has to be affordable, which means it should pay for itself within a year, hopefully, or preferably, and within 2 years maximum. But please never compromise on jugaad. And one of the, see, there are, in my view, in my 35 years experience, for machine tool automation, there are 3 systems, reliable systems. First is gantries, and that preferably the Japanese design gantries. Okay, Japanese design, what you find in Muratech or others, but the design is basically Japanese. Second is robots. Robots are the most reliable machine in the world. Very, very reliable. So robots can be from any international source, Fanuc, KUKA, Yaskawa, any of these top brands, ABB. Third thing is something which machine, CNC machine itself you are using for loading unloading, which is Marshall's Smart Load. We have a patent for this technology where we use the machine itself to load unload, because machine is very reliable. As you know, it is running so efficiently for years and years and years. It has reliability written into it. So this is a very reliable system. But if you have jugaad, which is like you have external pneumatic cylinders and actuators, something is pushing the job here and then something is pushing it inside the spindle and all that. It is my opinion, and I'd like to share with you, I do not believe that these systems are very reliable, and you should try to avoid these systems as much as possible. So because I have seen lots of these stories where machines are lying unused on the shop floor with lots of kuch chhat se jugaad laga, samne se laga hua, and so many moving parts. Even if they work, one accident takes place, all these alignments get disturbed, and then again it's a sad story. So don't use jugaad. So now, what are the type of solutions available? Before we come to the solutions, I would like to hear from the 2 gentlemen who are from your side. They are representing you, the audience. Mr. Sharma, who is representing the larger customers, very large customers. He is Vice President of Endurance Group. and Mr. Vinod Madane, who's representing SME. He has 4 units in various locations, including Nasik and Sanand. So, first of all, Mr. Sharma, a few words from you.
Yeah, Gauravji, I certainly agree with your viewpoint of this jugaad that you're saying. Of course, yes, because these are very unstable, systems which generally will face a lot of maintenance issues, and finally your OE is going to go down. However, you had an ambition in your mind that you're going to save upon cost of loading, unloading, and maybe quality check and so on. But then what happens on a long run is that probably in the initial stage, it will show you some results, but then you will have a lot of maintenance issues, because generally the design parameters for an automation with pneumatic or mechatronic systems needs enough amount of experience and intelligence already to be drawn into the design so as to make a very reliable system which will give you a long-term benefit and a long-term service. But generally, we see that in Indian industrial conditions, that is the case, that we basically fail on these kind of things.
Okay. So thank you for your views, Sharma ji. I'll now ask Mr. Madane also to share his perspective on this. So Vinod ji, क्या व्यू है आपका कि जुगाड़ नहीं होना चाहिए?
जुगाड़ तो नहीं होना चाहिए कि जुगाड़ से थोड़ा दिन मशीन चलता है, बाद में उसका इफेक्ट मशीन पे ही हो जाता है. मशीन खराब हो जाता है, कुछ न्यूमेटिक सिलेंडर खराब हो सकते हैं, स्पिंडल खराब हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. जो भी है स्टैंडर्ड जो आप जो बोल रहे वो हिसाब से जो किया, सर्वो से हिसाब से किया, तो मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ा दिन तकलीफ होता है. कोई भी ऑटोमेशन के लिए 2-3 महीना तकलीफ होने वाला है. एक बार वो अच्छा सेट हो गया, एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर अपने कंपनी में रख दिया, तो मुझे लगता नहीं है कुछ प्रॉब्लम आएगा. पर उसके लिए मेंटेनेंस का टीम बहुत जरूरी है. मेंटेनेंस का टीम नहीं रहेगा तो ऑटोमेशन में मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ा बहुत तकलीफ आएगा शुरुआत में.
विनोद जी, यहाँ मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि आपने तो आप बहुत बड़े फैन हैं ऑटोमेशन के, और आप यू आर वन ऑफ द वेरी ब्राइट इंजीनियर्स, सेल्फ टॉट इंजीनियर्स दैट आई नो इन माय एंटायर करियर. मैं आपसे एक चीज ये पूछना चाहूंगा, जो आपने बहुत पते वाली बात कही है, क्योंकि आप एक एंटरप्रेन्योर हैं, आप बड़ा सोच समझ के पैसा लगाते हैं, ठीक है? तो ये जो आपने बात कही कि पेशेंस होना, कोई भी ऑटोमेशन को सक्सेसफुल होने के लिए कुछ समय लगता है, ठीक है? ये वाकई दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड्स, बिकॉज इफ यू डोंट हैव पेशेंस, इफ यू एक्सपेक्ट कि ये जादू है कि ये आया, बटन दबाया और नोट छापने शुरू कर दिए, तो फिर पर्सन इज गोइंग टू बी डिसअपॉइंटेड, राइट?
वैसा होता ही नहीं है, क्योंकि कैसा है, अभी आपके मशीन के बारे में आपको नॉलेज रहता है, मेरा जॉब के बारे में मेरा नॉलेज रहता है, तो वो दोनों का जब तक ये लगता नहीं, जो ये होता नहीं, तब तो जॉब होगा ही नहीं. दोनों का ट्यूनिंग जमेगा तभी वो जॉब ओके होगा.
राइट सर, राइट. थैंक यू. शर्मा जी, yes. Sharma ji, just this comment about patience, that when you have are implementing automation and you have to go a long way, and your internal team also takes some time to get into the flow of things. So in the first project, it may take a bit longer. Next project will become easier, and then it is like everyday thing, the way it happened with CNC machines 20-25 years ago. So what are your views about this, that patience and focus is needed among the users?
I fully agree with you that the patience is needed, the focus is needed. Every day health check is required. There is a check sheet which you need to maintain for all your automations. But my perspective will go back to the initial stage of it. What I was trying to emphasize upon is, of course, there are 2 different types of automations. One automation, when we talk about the affordable and innovative automation, which is most suitable for a given process inside your shop floor, which you only understand well because you are the daily production person and daily end user. So one part of it, which I say a miniature automation or an initial automation for loading, unloading purpose and things like that, therein we can use a lot of gravity based on things and, stackers and vibrators and things like that, cassettes and all. So these are comparatively more reliable processes, more reliable automation systems, which are going to substantially add on your manpower cost. But the other part of the later part of it, when you have a more intense automation and you are exposed to use a lot of pneumatic cylinders and valves and solenoids and these and that, and maybe a software for a PLC integration and things like that. So here comes the perspective of a robust design. So initially the mechanical and the pneumatic and the electronic PLC design itself, the logic should be so robust that after manufacturing of that automation and implementation of that automation in your system, it should give you a fruitful result and a longevity, of using that automation in your system, and error proofing every time, that you are not only, continuously doing maintenance on that particular thing.
Right, sir.
Or you have to have a long-term patience on it. You have to have a long-term patience. That is only required when you are referring to Jugaad. But if you are not referring to Jugaad, if you are making the system with a foolproof design, right from the day one, you have a foolproof design, you follow the design, the mechanical structure, all the placement and the working and the function of the pneumatic system, or for that matter, any other system that you're adopting to, then probably you are going to make a system which is going to be a sustainable solution for you. So I look at it in two different ways. First way is to have a very small initial automation system, which is mostly dependent on gravity and vibrator and pick and place kind of a thing. Those things are more encouraged because that is a very low cost automation,
right,
and also can substantially participate in cost reduction. Whereas the other part of it is a little more intensive automation, which needs focus on design parameters to a very great level.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your perspective. We move forward now. So now we come to what are the solutions available, and we will examine different type of jobs so that the viewers get an idea about the type of solutions available. And the purpose of this webinar is not to promote or plug Marshall products. Since I am from Marshall, my material which I have is from Marshall, and we are leaders in automation in India. So obviously I'm going to use my examples. But the idea of this webinar is to spark ideas in people who may not even be from machining, who may be making springs or who may be making plastic parts. The idea is that industry has to move towards automation. So we are trying to contribute in our own way, myself and my co-panelists, that people get a broad perspective. Okay, this is available. And from these ideas, you generate your own ideas that, okay, what suits you? And you are most welcome to use these ideas because we have placed all this in public domain. हम आपको ये सब दिखा रहे हैं कि इससे आप आइडियाज लेके कुछ करना चाहें, हमारे साथ करना चाहें तो हम बहुत खुश हैं, हमारे साथ नहीं भी करना चाहें तो you are most welcome. This is our contribution to Indian industry. Okay, so first solution is for bush type jobs. A lot of jobs are bush type. They may not be bushes, but bush type means something which has an OD and an ID and a certain length, short length. So bush type के अंदर spacer भी आ सकते हैं, So bush type jobs, as you can see in the photograph here. So here, the way we have structured this whole presentation is that we show the photo of the component and a machine on which it is being made, and then we show a video clip, and then we stop and then discuss it, because that video speaks best of all. So here we have two grippers on the slide, twin grip, twin release. So one gripper takes the fresh job from the chute and loads into the chuck. The second removes the machined component and exits it. And in this case, vibratory bowl feeder is being used to load the job. Or it can be in some cases manually fed, but mostly it will be some kind of a vibratory bowl feeder. Once again, we are showing this twin grip, twin release mechanism. using two grippers mounted on the slide of the machine. So I hope this is very clear to everyone how this is happening. Again, we have done it again and again so that everybody is clear that there is an in-feed system here, and then loading, and the upper gripper takes out the finished job and puts it in the chute. So this is the simplest kind of automation, cheapest with very fast return on investment. So the second solution, here we will show you two things. One of the first thing is that the job needs to be oriented, because this is a hex job. See, in the case of a round job, you do not need orientation of the work holding chuck in relation to the job, because it's round, it can be gripped anywhere. But in case of hex, it has 6 faces, 6 flats. So the 3 jaws of the chuck have to be oriented in such a way that the jaw has to touch the flat. Here you will see this in the next video. So the jobs are already oriented here in the work holding, in the conveyor which takes inside. And you see here the spindle is oriented to grip the job across the flats. So these are the various machining operations going on. And then this job is going to be flipped. So we have deliberately showed it in slow motion so that it is very clear to the viewers. So we have flipped the job, and the second operation is also done, and then the job is put in a exit chute. So ये exit chute में डाला और fresh job load हो गया. So this is another example, and you can use this type of automation for various types of hydraulic connectors. Most of the hydraulic or pneumatic connectors, they have a hex, and they have steps on both sides. So you can use this type of automation for these type of hydraulic connectors. You can also use for any type of hex component, because typically when you use a hex material, there is some part of that hex which remains unmachined, which is why you are producing it from hex, and you have OD operation on both sides, including threading, or OD plus ID. So any kind of such jobs you can do with the help of this type of automation. Now we come to another class of job, tubular jobs. Now there are some tubes which need machining only at the ends, like the front fork, or it can be any other kind of tubular job. So this is an example of the auto loading for such kind of a component. So here we are using a very simple in-feed system for lifting the jobs to a certain height, and then they are pushed inside and machining is completed on one end. And then we have the servo pushing part of the tube out, and then an overhead arm takes out the job and removes it from the machine. So this is an example of machining of a tubular component. So why we have shown this also, I mean, why this is important, that the viewers should not feel that these automation solutions are only for small length jobs. These are also for longer, not just tubes, but longer shafts also, as we will show shortly. So this is a complete cell for longer shafts and multiple operations, including auto gauging. So you see here, we have a system which transfers the job between the two machines where the two ends are being machined. And now you will see automatic inspection using the smart correct gauging stations. So we have a series of such arms which transfer the job between various stations, including the auto gauging station, where the diameters are measured and the sizes are auto corrected as and when required. Now we come to a cell where we have a gear and a shaft both being made. This is a very interesting example of a higher level of automation where a gear and a shaft, which form a set basically, and it's for export. And here the automation, the auto gauging and auto correction is also done through gantry type system. Here you can see the transfer arm transferring the job between the two spindles. And once the part comes out, there is a gantry here for inspection. It picks up the part, takes it to the gauging station, removes the inspected part from the station. The part is inspected, size is auto corrected if required, and then it is put in a bin. So if the part is rejected, it is put in the red bin by this system. So just as you saw that gear, now the shaft is also being made on the same cell. One of the very important things in automation, affordable automation, is flexibility. So flexibility is now very much a part of how we design automated systems. See here, the inspection is being done automatically. The shaft is held between centers. It is being rotated so that apart from the diameters, the runout or the ovality of the job can also be checked. So this is an integrated cell. This is the next form of automation. This is the higher form of automation. So starting with very simple concepts, we have tried to show you some more sophisticated forms where you have a set of machines put together. Each of them is simple in their own ways with simple affordable automation, and then like a modular system or building blocks, you collect all this together and make a complete system. So again, we have this for small tubular components. We have this example of automation. This component is a shocker part called seat pipe. This was considered very, very difficult to automate, even with robots, because it has to go inside the spindle. Please see how this is being done now. So we have this one gripper picking up a fresh job. And here you see a cylinder which pushes it back, so the gripper just inserts inside the spindle, and you have a pusher which pushes it against the stopper, because it is very important for length control that the job should rest properly against the stopper. This is one of the most challenging jobs that we faced. I will show this video again so that everybody is clear. And before I show that, I would like to again, explain slightly that this is a very difficult job to load, unload, even if you have a robot, because of the nature of the job. It is slim on one side, and then it has a big head on one side, and it needs to be resting very well against the stopper at the back. So if we try to use the gripper itself to push it, it would waste the time of the machine and it may not produce the desired results. So we use the pusher cylinder to push the job against the stop. And then we have an ejector cylinder inside, which also pushes out the job so that the gripper can grip it. Please watch it again. Finally, we have now a solution where you can make components which require two setups, and these are roller type components, which, and many of these are used in bearings as rollers for large size bearings, or in brake parts. It's called a pivot pin, which is used in a lot of drum brakes, and also things like piston pins. So there are a lot of there's a whole huge family of components which are pin type in nature, and roller or pin type in nature. So this kind of solution with twin spindle machine with transfer between the two spindles is a perfect, affordable, automated solution for such parts. Again, we have used a vibratory bowl feeder for infeeding the cut lengths. The raw material is cut bar lengths. So you have first operation, and after that, the job is transferred to the second spindle with the help of the transfer arm. And the rest of the machining takes place here. And then the ready part comes out, where it goes on a gauging station, which is measuring the cylindricity as well as the total height and parallelism of the faces. So combining measurement with automation is again one of our strengths. And I think it is very, very important, because if you have measurement systems which combine with the automation systems, that truly gives you manless production. So you need very little intervention of people, and you produce parts in great volume, and also with great accuracy or quality. I'll just go back to this last video once again, so that the whole concept becomes very clear. So vibratory bowl feeder of cut lengths. Operation 10, or the first operation. And then after that, transfer arm comes and transfers the job between the two spindles. And then the second operation, and the part is ejected, part comes out, it's put on a gauging station. I will just pause here. You see, this is a very, very important part, that if you are producing in volume on these automated machines, it is very important that you have measuring systems attached to this automation, so that whatever gets made gets checked and auto corrected, so that 100% correct quality you are producing. Also, this system is a method in which you can do intelligent tool life management. It's another subject, so I'll not dwell too much on it, but I just want to tell you that this type of measurement system also leads to better tool life management, because you are able to predict when a tool is its life is over. You replace it with a sister tool, and when the last sister tool is at the end of its life, the cell will automatically indicate to the supervisor or somebody that yes, my tools need to be changed. So this type of auto gauging is a very, very important part of automation. Now, we come to the end of our presentation, and then we'll have a question answer session in which Mr. Sharma and Mr. Madane, they will assist me in answering your questions. So why, again, I'm repeating, why do we need affordable automation today? Three reasons. First is there is a shortage of skilled manpower. Secondly, because of COVID, there is going to be there are going to be a lot of norms about how many people you can have in the factory, how close they should be, and so on. And third thing is, with all the losses which have taken place till now, we need to have those systems in place which vastly improve our profits. They improve our profits so that we can recover these losses in a few months and then use those profits to become globally competitive. India is at a stage where today we can win a lot of global business, but we need to have better factories with more automation, with more auto gauging, all these things. We cannot become, world class with dependence on Ram Prasad operator or Ajay Singh inspector. So please go ahead, plan your automation today and reap the benefits. Jai Hind. Thank you.